Hello and welcome to Sunday's football review, where we take a look at what went down in the European League fixtures, including the Carabao Cup final between Arsenal and Manchester City. Let's look at each fixtures together. Full-time score in Wembley in the most awaited Carabao Cup final between Arsenal and Man City: Arsenal 0, Manchester City 2, as O'Reilly double decides EFL Cup final in Guardiola's favour. Man City beat Premier League title rivals Arsenal 2-0 in the EFL Cup final, with Nico O'Reilly scoring twice to capture the trophy. Nico O'Reilly scored twice as Man City beat Premier League title rivals Arsenal 2-0 in Sunday's EFL Cup final at Wembley Stadium. The first ever EFL Cup final features the teams sat first and second in the top flight table was a slow burner, with the first half featuring just 3 shots on target, all from Arsenal. But the Gunners capitulated around the hour mark with a huge error from Cup goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga, allowing O'Reilly, who celebrated his 21st birthday on Saturday, to score the first of 2 headed goals in 4 minutes. City were relatively comfortable from then on, as Pep Guardiola became the first ever manager to lift the AFL Cup on 5 occasions, while Mikel Arteta's wait for a first major trophy win since the 2020 FA Cup goes on. Arsenal started on the front foot, but James Trafford, who was selected ahead of Gianluigi Donnarumma after starting all of City's games en route to the final, made a triple save to keep out Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka in the 7th minute. A superb cross from Antoine Semenyo proved just too high for Erling Haaland as City started to find their feet, though Nathan Ake had to make a good recovery challenge after almost allowing Arsenal in at the other end. City did not register a shot on target in the first half, though they might have gone ahead when Haaland nodded on over from close range in the 45th minute, following more excellent work from Semenyo on the right flank. A misjudgment from Kepa almost allowed Jeremy Doku in at the start of the second half. Then another huge error from the Spaniard, who spilled Ryan Cherky's cross on the hour, allowed O'Reilly to nod home from almost directly beneath the crossbar. And O'Reilly had another headed goal shortly afterwards, redirecting a hanging cross from Matías Núñez back across Kepa and into the top right corner. Arsenal struck the woodwork twice at 2-0 down, with Ricardo Calafiori drive clipping the far post and Gabriel Jesus' header bouncing off the top of the crossbar, but City held on for a deserved victory. The EFL Cup was never Arsenal's main priority this season, with the Gunners leading the Premier League table by 9 points and being seen as one of the favourites to win the Champions League. But this final represented an opportunity to strike another psychological blow against their stuttering rivals, and to silence some doubters after nearly 6 years without a major trophy. Instead, their wait for a civil war goes on and their quadruple dreams are over, with Arteta failing to become the first Arsenal player to win his first 2 major finals at the helm. Following a bright first 10 minutes, Arsenal went into the shell. The Gunners' 122 successful passes before the break were their fewest in the first half of any game since last season's Champions League semi-final first leg versus Paris Saint-Germain. But Arteta's side at least had control over City's attacks in the first period. That changed after the interval, though, as Arsenal's possession share dropped from 39.2 to 37.3 and City began to ramp up the pressure. Having won the expected goals battle by 0.47 to 0.33 in the first half, Arsenal were beaten comprehensively by the same metric in the second half, 1.27 to 0.17. Arsenal remain in contention on 3 fronts, but this defeat will do little to Quinton's suggestions they need to be bolder in the biggest matches. Guardiola was on the verge of history at Wembley, as he looked to surpass Alex Ferguson and Jose Mourinho to become the most successful manager in EFL Cup history. And though his team took a while to get going, he accomplished that feat with the help of an unlikely hero in O'Reilly. The City youngster has now scored a brace in 2 of his last 6 appearances in all competitions, which is also versus Newcastle in the Premier League, having only done so once in his first 59 senior outings at club level. And at 21 years old and 1 day old, O'Reilly is the third youngest player to score twice in a AFL Cup final after Wayne Rooney in 2006 and Ronnie Whelan in 1982. He also became the youngest goal scorer in the AFL Cup final since Joe Mason struck against Liverpool for Cardiff City in 2012, and the second youngest in City's history after Peter Barnes in 1976. City have now won 9 of their 10 AFL Cup finals, including each of their last 8 in a row, since losing to Wolves in 1974, and Guardiola will hope this triumph can be the springboard for more success before the end of the season. Congratulations to Manchester City. Full-time score once again: Arsenal 0, Man City 2 in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. Over in La Liga, a fixture which is also most anticipated, the Madrid derby at the Santiago Bernabeu between Real Madrid and Atletico de Madrid. Real Madrid 3, Atletico Madrid 2, as Vinícius braced enough for the derby spoils despite Valverde's red card. Despite Valverde being sent off in the 77th minute, Real Madrid held on to defeat Atletico Madrid 3-2 in La Liga on Sunday. Vinícius Júnior scored twice as Real Madrid edged out cross-city rivals Atletico Madrid 3-2 in La Liga, holding on to boost their title hopes despite a red card for Valverde. Ademola Lookman gave Atleti the lead in his first Madrid derby, only for Vinícius' penalty and an opportunistic Valverde finish to flip the script after the break. It looked as though Atleti would leave the Estadio Santiago Bernabeu with a point after Nahuel Molina scored his second long-range blockbuster in 8 days. But Vinícius' curler quickly restored Madrid's lead. Valverde was then sent off for swiping Alex Baena downright under the nose of referee José Luis Monuera Montero, but Arvalo Arbeloa's men survived some late pressure to move back within 4 points of leaders Barcelona, who beat Rayo Vallecano 1-0 earlier on Saturday. There were chances at both ends in a lively start to proceedings, with Valverde firing off the foot of the post in between, strong save from both teams' backup goalkeepers, who was Juan Musso denying Dani Carvajal and Henry Lunin keeping out Marcos Llorente. Giuliano Simeone cleared 2 Vinícius efforts off the line, then played a starring role in Atleti's 33rd minute opener by flicking the ball into the path of Lookman, who finished neatly. Madrid turned the game around at the start of the second half though, with Vinícius converting a 52nd minute penalty after David Hanco fouled Brahim Diaz before Valverde capitalized on an error from a newly introduced defender Jose Maria Jimenez 3 minutes later. Molina, who also scored a stunning goal in Atleti's previous league game against Getafe, arched a wonderful strike into the top left corner from 25 yards out in the 66th minute, but that was not the end of the drama. Madrid quickly restored their lead as Trent Alexander-Arnold's excellent pass freed Vinícius to find the bottom right corner, and despite Valverde's kick from behind on Baena reducing the host to 10 men, there was no way back for Atleti, who saw Julian Alvarez strike the post from range. 11 days removed from Champions League hat-trick against Man City, Valverde had another busy night, for better or for worse. His goal capped a furious Madrid fight back early in the second half and took him to 11 goal involvements in La Liga this season, which is 4 goals and 7 assists, matching his previous high in a single campaign, also 11 in 2022-23 season. But after Molina and Vinícius exchanged further goals, his first red card in La Liga on his 263rd appearance in the competition, put Los Blancos' position in danger. As it was, they held out for a crucial victory, even if Alvarez's long-range strike provided them with a major scare. Madrid ended the game with 17 shots to Atletico's 13, also winning the expected goals battle by 2.42 to 1. Full-time score once again in the Madrid derby, Real Madrid 3, Atletico Madrid 2. And over in Catalonia and Barcelona, in Camp Nou, Barcelona 1, Rayo Vallecano 0, as Araujo's header secures a nervy win for the La Liga leaders. With second place Real Madrid facing Atletico and winning 3-2 on Sunday, La Liga leaders Barcelona took advantage to go 7 points clear. Ronaldo Araujo scored the only goal as Barcelona moved 7 points clear at the La Liga summit with a nervy 1-0 victory over Rayo Vallecano. The skipper's first half header proves the difference as Hansi Flick's side claimed their fifth league win, though they were holding on towards the end at Camp Nou. Vallecano almost broke the deadlock inside the opening minute following a swift counter that culminated in Juan Garcia producing a superb point-blank save to deny Carlos Martin. Rafinha dragged wide at the other end when 1-1 with Augusto Batalla, who also denied the forward's lobbed attempt before Araujo nodded in Joao Cancelo's corner in 24 minutes. Batalla made a wonderful save to deny Rafinha's deflected effort soon after, while Lamine Yamal shot narrowly wide in the 57th minute. Vallecano, who reached the UEFA Conference League quarterfinals in midweek, went in search for a late equalizer. But Garcia made a smart save to deny Jorge de Frutos in the 89th minute as Barca held on. Barca have equaled the longest run of La Liga home games without conceding against Vallecano, marching their streak from between 1993 and 1997. The Blaugrana have won all 15 of their La Liga home matches this season. Juventus are the only team with better 100% record across the Big Five European leagues in the 21st century. Barca have now scored in each of their last 39 home games in all competitions, their best run since the 45 game streak between February 2018 and October 2019 under Ernesto Valverde. Araujo was the hero with his third La Liga goal of the season. It is the defender's second highest tally in a single campaign in competition, which is 4 in 2021-22 season. Full-time score at Camp Nou, La Liga fixture between Barca and Rayo Vallecano. Barca won with only one goal. Moving back to England, in the Sunday Premier League fixture between Tottenham Hotspur and Nottingham Forest, a battle to survive relegation, Tottenham Hotspur lost 3-0 to Nottingham Forest at home, as Tudor faces more pressure after a humiliating loss in a relegation six-pointer. Igor Tudor is under pressure as Tottenham's 3-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest, which leaves them just a point clear of the drop zone. Spurs fans lined up the streets to welcome Igor Tudor's side to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium ahead of the titanic tussle between two out-of-form teams, but another shambolic display left the Croatian's future in severe doubt going into the international break. Spurs spent almost the entire first half on top, hitting the woodwork twice, with the first of those incidents seeing Igor Jesus nod Kevin Danso's long throw against his own crossbar. But Jesus then found the net at the other end in the 45th minute, heading Nico Williams' deep corner behind Guillermo Vicario from close range. Matt Selt's woodwork was shaking again when the Forest goalkeeper pushed Matthijs Tel long-range curler onto the crossbar in the first half stoppage time, but things got even worse for the hosts after the interval. Vicario somehow allowed Morgan Gibbs-White's finish to squirm straight through him in the 62nd minute, following good work from Callum Hudson-Odoi before Lucas Bergvall wasted a great chance to get the hosts back into the contest. And the home fans were stunned into silence again in the 87th minute when Williams' searching cross was turned home by substitute Taiwo Awoniyi, but they erupted in a furious bout of jeers at the full-time whistle. The result leaves Forest 3 points above 18th place West Ham, while Spurs are the only one clear of danger and seemingly have a decision to make over Tudor's future. Is it all-time low for Spurs? Spurs have just 30 points on board after 31 games of the Premier League season, accounting for the 3 points for the win all time. This is the joint worst campaign in the Premier League history, having the same record at this stage of the 1914-15 season, when they were relegated to the second tier. Spurs' winless run in the Premier League now stands at 13 games, equaling the second worst run in league history. They have only ever endured a longer drought between December 1934 and April 1935, and they were also relegated from the top flight at the end of the campaign. Across spells with Juventus and Tottenham, Tudor has not won any of his last 10 league matches as manager, which is 4 draws and 6 defeats, the longest run of his career, and it remains to be seen whether he'll be in the dugout when Spurs visit Sunderland on April 12. Full-time score once again in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium: Tottenham Hotspur 0, Nottingham Forest 3. And over to the North England in the Tyne-Wear derby in the St James Park, Newcastle United 1, Sunderland 2, as Brobbey steals derby bragging rights with last gasp winner. Sunderland gave up an early goal against Newcastle United, but completed a comeback by scoring late in the Tyne-Wear derby. Sunderland earned the bragging rights in the Tyne-Wear derby as Brian Brobbey snatched a 2-1 win over Newcastle United at St James Park. The Black Cats have done the double of their fiercest rivals in the Premier League in 2025-26, with Brobbey prodding home with the winner in the 90th minute. Newcastle has started brightly, with Anthony Elanga thumping a header over just 3 minutes before Sunderland gifted the host their opener. Luke O'Nien's short pass inside his own box was intercepted by Nick Waltemada, who teed up Anthony Gordon to round his defender and drew a low shot into the bottom left corner. James Dean Talby forced Ramsdale to a smart stop at the other end, while Sven Botman struck the post with a header just before the break. Sunderland started the second half brightly, and Talby dragged Sunderland level 57 minutes in, turning in the rebound after Habib Diarra's close-range effort was cleared on the line. Malik Thiaw then saw a header disallowed at the other end after Jacob Murphy interfered with Melchior Elborg from the offside position with 15 minutes remaining, and Brobbey took the chance that fell to him late on, prodding home on a second attempt to complete the comeback win. Sunderland are now unbeaten across their last 6 away league matches against Newcastle. They won 4 and draw 2, further extending their longest run on the road in the fixtures league history. And timed at 89 minutes 45 seconds, Brobbey netted the latest ever winning goal in a Premier League match between the sides. Sunderland have now gained 19 points from losing positions this season, while Newcastle have dropped 22 when taking the lead as they endured another miserable derby day. Eddie Howe became the first ever Newcastle manager to lose both of his first 2 league games against Sunderland, while Regis Lebris is just the second Black Cats boss to reach each of his first 2, which is after Gus Poyet in 2013-14 season. Full-time score once again in this another intense fixture in the Tyne-Wear derby between Newcastle United and Sunderland. Newcastle United 1, Sunderland with a comeback win 2. And that concludes Sunday's intense and amazing fixtures, and also a great finale in the Carabao Cup final. No more club football in the following weekend, but the international football friendlies and qualifying games are coming up. And until then, see you all, good night, and take care.